In today's session, we shall essentially be talking about what is marketing, why is it so very necessary. We understand marketing management as one important department in an organization which helps to sell products, which helps in creating and generating revenue for the organization, wherein we say that marketing is actually all around us. It is in products, it is in the print ads, it is in the conversations that one buyer has with a seller, it is through different kinds of schemes and discounts which we see in a marketplace. But there is definitely more to marketing. Is it just a science or is it just an art? So, in this particular session, I am going to talk about what is marketing and why is it really so very important for the organization. In literature and in records, it is well documented that marketing is a combination of science and art. It is a systematic study, and yet it involves innovations, creativity in designing a product or a service, in ensuring that the product reaches the end user or customer at its proper time, at the right place, and as and when the customer wants it. But this art of delivering, creating value to the customers is also labeled as marketing. It is very innovative in nature, it is very creative, and yet it is a very scientific and a systematic study of hows, whys, and whens of reaching a customer, creating products and bundle of utilities for the customer, and then finally customers deriving satisfaction out of using that particular product or a service. Marketing is also termed as being interdisciplinary. It is a branch which is said that it has actually evolved from economics, but it is not restricted only to economics and talks about consumer behavior, but it also encrosses history, geography, philanthropy, philosophy, and other such studies that together help a marketer in an organization to develop it into a scientific and an artistic study in order to reach customers and provide them with certain value additions, certain benefits at lower costs in order to grave their attention, and of course at the same time in order to delight customers. It is this innovation, it is this creativity that stimulates a lot of intelligence, and it also generates a certain degree of curiosity in the minds of customers as to how to next solve the problems. Please understand that customers are actually viewed as people going to a particular marketplace as people who would like to solve their problems, as people who have certain unfulfilled needs and wants. So when these consumers or these customers or these buyers, there is a very thin line of demarcation between all these three terms, but we'll be talking about these terms at this particular introductory session in at the same format, at the same level, though each one of these terms conveys a different meaning. So when customers are primarily viewed as consumers or buyers who have certain unfulfilled needs, there is a certain degree or an element of curiosity that raises certain questions as to how this unfulfilled need and want can actually be satisfied, or can stimulate a certain degree of expectations in the minds of consumers as to what is available and what can definitely be customized in a service so as to help them solve this particular problem. So marketers primarily see these customers as people who have certain degree of problems, as people who have certain unfulfilled needs and wants, as people who are there in the marketplace to meet out on their expectations. So the primary job of a marketer is to satisfy these unfulfilled needs and wants, and therefore in how many different ways can these unfulfilled needs and wants can primarily be satisfied, which are distinctively different from the ones which are presently being offered in the market. So marketing by its very nature is a science, it's an art that stimulates curiosity in the minds of consumers and simultaneously also raises certain questions as creative intelligence in the minds of marketers and marketing managers to dwell on certain possible points to satisfy as to what extra, what new, what innovative product can be created to meet out these expectations of the customers as an unfulfilled, which are still unfulfilled needs and wants. So, what is marketing at the end of the day? Is it just selling? It involves selling. Selling is just meeting out on the customer's needs or the organization's needs, because the primary aim of marketing is to generate revenue. Am I right when I say this? Well, partially, because along with selling, along with advertising, along with making products available in the stores and maintaining proper inventories, at all these points, the basic criteria is that marketing exists in the world and in an organization because it primarily fulfills the consumer's aspirations. So, marketing is the fulfillment of consumers' aspirations. So, it is not only about selling that targets the organization's needs, it is not only about advertising that helps predominantly in creating awareness and maintaining a very strong communication bridge between an organization and customers. Marketing is not only about promotions, that is, you are promoting products in the marketplace in order to entice consumers. It is not only about how to make products available in the stores. It is not about maintaining strong inventories in order to reach customers on time at the right place, but it incorporates all of these operations together and much more. According to different experts and world famous organizations that have performed years of research in the area of marketing, one of the most prestigious organizations is the American Marketing Association, that defines marketing as calling it not only a process which is restricted to managerial operations, but it is also a social process that stems from planning and executing, pricing, promoting, and distributing these ideas and services and goods to meet out the expectations of both the individuals as well as the organizations in creating exchanges that benefit the individuals and the organizations. And therefore, marketing is not only a managerial process, but it also is a social process. According to Sir Philip Kotler, he says that it is a societal process by which again individuals and groups, whatever they are looking for, whatever they need, whatever is their unfulfilled need and want, they are getting those unfulfilled needs and wants through creations, through offerings, through value benefits which are offered to by others. The word others here primarily refers to an organization. So, a societal process by which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want by creating, by offering, and freely exchanging products, goods, and services which are of value to others is called as the process of marketing. He also goes on to say that marketing is both the art as well as a science of identifying and choosing the right kind of customers. Target markets refers to the right kind of customers and growing customers and also retaining customers by creating and delivering and communicating a value which is superior to the others which are offered in the market. So, what is this market? How do we classify this market? What are the important characteristics of this market? A market is a place as defined by economists where both buyers and sellers meet. And this market in the modern era, in the modern times, is defined as the empowered market of consumers. Why do we use this word as empowered? We use this word as empowered because customers are being treated as kings. Customers, though there is presently, because of intense competition, there is a lot of debate which goes on to say that customers, are they really the king or are they really not the king? But we'll come back to this debate a little later on, which is really not a good thing for me to take up right in the first class of marketing management. However, we restrict ourselves to understanding that customers are empowered. When we use this word empowered, we mean that customers have a lot of information about the different products available in the market, information about where, when, and how to spend money, information about what is it that they really require and need, what kind of product would be able to satisfy these unfulfilled needs and wants. Customers are earning, and there is a steep rise in the predisposable incomes. So, how to spend this income, what to do with this enhanced buying power, has and is a very good characteristic of a modern market. So, the empowered consumers, empowered both with the knowledge, empowered both with money, empowered both with the realization and self awareness of how to need, what to need, where to need, how to get the product, how to spend, and what would give them the maximum happiness and maximum satisfaction constitutes an important characteristic of a modern market. Also, a broader bandwidth of products and services with greater amount of information which is available in the market also makes it an important criteria of being a modern market characteristic. Then, with plethora of information which is available online and on internet, there is a greater ease, a greater convenience, a greater comfort in trading different kinds of products and services through e-commerce. So, digitalization of products, digitalization of delivery terms, digitalization of establishing strong communication bridges with the consumers has also become a chief characteristic of a modern market. So, a modern market is no longer a physical market, but it is also a digital market. An ability to easily benchmark and compare products and services globally. When we use this word benchmark refers to certain sets of standardization which are used as comparative basis of measuring a performance of an organization, performance of a product, the satisfaction levels of customers, the happiness of a customer after using a particular product or a service. So it's because there are so many products available in the market, with each one of them having their own chief characteristic distinguishing features, it is possibly easy for customers to standardize, to set comparisons between attaining maximum satisfaction out of using a particular product or a service, or a dissatisfaction after using that particular product or a service. Say, for example, for you students, when you have to make choices, would visiting a movie give you greater happiness or satisfaction, and or whether it would be spending some time with good old friends in a restaurant chatting would give you more satisfaction and happiness. So, availing entertainment services in the first place give you more happiness and satisfaction, or would sitting in a restaurant, dining, and catching up on a few get-together things with old friends give you greater satisfaction, or coupling both these activities together still enhance your degree of happiness and satisfaction? So all these are characteristics of modern market, wherein we can choose between different kinds of products and product categories and enable a customer in reaching a particular decision of what to buy, how to buy, when to buy, where to buy, and all this comes as a characteristic of a modern market. Now, when we define marketing, when we define these marketing terms, there are certain essential sets of variables which are required to define the entire marketing process and the entire marketing plan. These sets of variables are called as the marketing mix. So, the 4 P's of marketing mix, as they are called, around which all the entire marketing operations dwell. These P's are the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. Gradually, with the passage of time, these 4 P's became the 4 C's of marketing mix, and these were customer solution. So a product was viewed by consumers as a problem that could possibly be solved. So product primarily is defined as a product as bundle of utilities. So these bundle of utilities was looked forward to as the problem solver or as the customer solution. The price was the price at which the customer was buying the product. Now, this customer cost included the time, the energy, the psychic cost spent, and along with that, the cost of the product, which the customer was buying from a particular store. So, this became known as the customer cost. Place, the convenience from where the customer opts to buy the product. It could be offline, it could be online, it could be a major unorganized retail store in a market, a physical marketplace, or it could be from a branded store. And finally, what was being communicated as a part of promotions. So this became the other C. So from 4 C's, it evolved to 4 C's. From 4 P's, it evolved to 4 C's. And from 4 C's, it evolved to 4 A's, where the product was looked to as a customer solution, and it revealed the acceptance of the product by the consumers. So it was called as acceptability, where the consumer tries the product, adopts the product, and finally accepts it as an integral part of his life. Say, for example, some consumers are so addicted to coffee that they actually start their day with a brand of their choice, a coffee brand of their choice. The price was the customer's willingness as well as the consumer's or the customer's ability to pay for the particular product in order to become its owner. So this was quoted as affordability. The next was the accessibility, that is, the place from where the consumer was buying the product. So it became what is accessible to the consumer. Does the consumer really have to walk miles and miles to buy the product? Or does the consumer or the product is easily available within the reach? Is the product within the reach of the consumers? Like, for example, opening up of different stores, milk stores and milk booths by Mother Dairy is a way to improve reach to the consumers. And finally, awareness. Communication as a two-way process is able to generate and create awareness about a particular product or a service. Now, this awareness could be about some new feature which is added to the product. It could be about a new scheme which was launched by an organization. It could be about a societal campaign calling in for user participation. It could be about a marathon, for example, which is being organized and invokes users' participation as a call to participate and run for the country, and so on. So these four variables as product, price, promotion, and place are highly centric to marketing and marketing operations. This has also been classified as a basic marketing model. As I said earlier, market is a place which constitutes of a seller as well as a buyer. So what is it that sellers are offering to the buyers? They are offered, a market offering is made, and these market offerings are the products. What is it that the buyers are giving back to the sellers? It is the cost in the form of money. It is cost in terms of time that has that is taken by a buyer in order to decide on a particular product or a service. It is the psychic cost. It is the energy cost that a buyer spends in order to reach a decision of buying a particular product or a service from a particular seller. Say, for example, a buyer wishes to buy a smartphone. Now, he has a plethora of brands to choose from, but ultimately, after discussing it with his friends, watching certain advertisements on television, after watching a few operations, going to different stores, collecting information, he finally decides to buy a particular brand X of his choice and goes on to use the product and becomes satisfied in order to give a proper feedback, which can come as a part of satisfaction, as part of word of mouth, as a part of recommending the same product to the consumers. And after a buyer has used a particular product or service, anything that the company wishes to upgrade in the form of new features being added or certain exchange offers that the organization wishes to make to the buyers, it communicates with the audience. So this is the basic marketing model. So what is it that we can market? We've talked about marketing being a science, marketing being an art. A product can be a service, a product can be a physical good or entity, a product can be a tangible, something which can be touched, felt, seen, and owned. So what is it that we can market? almost anything and everything is marketable. We are marketing physical goods, we are marketing services, we are marketing events like, for example, IPL or Filmfare Awards or Cine Awards or World Cup FIFA. All these are events which are well marketed. Experiences like, for example, experiences of consumers being created in the form of testimonials, or students' experiences of how their journey in a particular university or an institute has been. How much skills did they really acquire? How much transformation did they experience when they first took admission in a particular college and at the time when they were leaving college? So, testimonials, experiences of a particular place, of travel, all these are recorded and are marketed. Personalities like MS Dhoni, personalities like Lionel Messi, Roger Federer, they have stood the test of times, proved themselves again and again, and they have been able to make a mark for themselves. So these personalities, so committed to their profession, so committed that they have actually become role models for many others, are also being marketed. Places like in tourist places, travel places, organizations, when they make claims that you come and work for us, or the best place to work with, brands that have stood the test of times, organizations, the world's best organizations, and many students, aspiring students, they do like to work for their dream companies, and each one of you would have your own dream company as well. Properties, as in real estates, information is being marketed, information is stored and retrieved. Humongous knowledge is being created and extensively marketed by search engines. And ideas and concepts as innovative products and services are again being marketed. So the scope of marketing as such is huge, it is big, and it can reach the right kind of audience at the right time, at the right place, which is the basic challenge of marketing, provided it is done aptly in an artistic as well as in a scientific manner. So that's all for this particular session. Thank you.